Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, got Coach Dub, got Justin Wells with me. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. We are either at or just eclipsed 8,000, so thank you all so much. Make sure you head to InsideTexas.com, use the promo code IT1, get 2 months of Inside Texas access for just $1. Training camp starts tomorrow, so you're going to want all the preseason updates, plus all the recruiting intel that comes along with it. Justin, I know this was a big Thursday for Texas, kind of peculiar timing, but it worked out really well, not only with the flip of Josiah Sharma that Eric and I talked about on Thursday, but also some strong progress made with two of the top 2025 targets there on campus. And I think the one everybody's paying attention to on the defensive side of the ball is Jonah Williams, Galveston ball safety. Made his way to Texas on Thursday. Don't think he made it to LSU following that. Some undecisiveness, I think, or indecisiveness with maybe what his next plans are. But what's for sure is, and what you detailed over on Inside Texas, is that the Longhorns did a good job, and even a great job this weekend, of delivering their message to Jonah Williams.
Yeah, that was the biggest takeaway. Give hat tip to Eric Naline with some help on that recruitment as well. You know, a week ago, I don't think Texas thought they were really in this. And then the parents reach out to the staff, told them they'd like to come visit, come hang out. They didn't get to take an official visit in June, and so they wanted to see campus one more time before. I think Jonah's going to sequester himself for the next month before his decision in late August. And that was going to be the last trip. Hey, they moved the needle. And in this recruitment, that's progress. Listen, we've identified this thing a lot. This is an NIL recruitment, but this is also going to be a fit. And for the longest, we've maintained if he stays closer to home, it's Texas or Texas A&M. Oregon's had a good little lead. LSU's had a lead. USC's been in the mix. Oklahoma's had a lead. I mean, he's had no problem finding suitors. But like his older brother who lives in Austin, Nick, it was down to Texas and Texas A&M when he was a recruit, wound up committing to Texas, signing with A&M, was drafted in the second round by the Texas Rangers in the MLB draft. I think that's going to be similar to Jonah. It's going to come down to Texas and Texas A&M, and the baseball draft is probably going to factor its way in. Hey, Texas did what they needed to do. They let him know exactly how he's being used, and we'll talk about Michael Terry here in a minute. They've even mentioned to Jonah, if safety's not your fancy, let's look at wide receiver. Let's do whatever you can to get one of the best athletes on the field. And I think that's what Texas is doing so well with Jonah right now.
Coach, for a lot of this recruitment, it's been, yes, Texas has been in the top group, but maybe not at the top of that top group. And now it seems like from our estimations, and even from what you may have heard as well, that Texas has started to creep up even closer and closer to the top, maybe than it's ever been in this pursuit.
Yeah, definitely. I think Texas has hung around, and then, you can kind of tailor your pitch to, hey, maybe this worked. He's liking this. He like hearing this. Well, let's kind of switch it up and maybe add this. And you just mentioned something, a chance to play offense, right? I think that's huge. So giving him that opportunity where he can come in and play offense and defense, I think that's a huge recruiting pitch. And Texas has, the chance to kind of put him in the class and let him do that. I think they really, really have a good chance. You add baseball into that, with the track record, and you cannot go wrong. So I think Texas has been able to hang around. Now they're up to bat, man. It's their time to take a swing, try to get a home run. So I think they've done that this past Thursday.
Yeah, speaking of up to bat, Justin, you had some info that while no Texas coaches were on campus, the Texas baseball coaches were on campus on Thursday, as people may have seen that picture with Jim Schlossnagle and Mac Brown together. Texas baseball coaches were able to get in touch with Jonah about the baseball side of things. That's a relationship that Jonah's had for some time. I think Schlossnagle was part of his Texas A&M recruitment. Now he's part of his Texas recruitment. The message was well received by the Galveston County Star. One more 2025 was there on campus. That is Alamo Heights athlete and five-star Michael Terry III. I think as we record this on Monday, and maybe even as you watch this on Tuesday, he will be at Nebraska. That is a program that has thrown the kitchen sink at him. And when Matt Rule sees a top prospect, he will send all 10 assistants to go see that prospect. And something similar to that may have happened over the spring. But Justin, we've liked Texas' position with Michael Terry for some time, and it seems like based off what you've been told, what even some of our On3 colleagues have been told, that the Longhorns remain in a great spot for Michael Terry III.
They do. And, I really think this really began in June when he came in for that official visit. I think they laid down the foundation exactly how they wanted to use him. They're not putting him in one position. They're saying, look, you're an athlete. If that means H-back, tight end, if that means receiver, if that means outside linebacker, it doesn't matter. They just want him on campus, and give A.J. Milwee and Tashard Choice a lot of credit to getting him there because other schools started picking up steam. Nebraska looked good. Texas A&M made a run at him. It's going to come down to Texas and Oregon, and I know that's going to make the Horns fans cringe a little bit, but you got to understand the two coaches that really built the earliest relationship with Terry are Will Stein, the offensive coordinator at Oregon, and Tashard Choice, the running back coach at Texas. Both offered him in 8th grade when they were at other schools, and Terry remembered that. He's a great kid with a great family, and they respect that relationship building process. And so this is going to come down to Texas and Oregon, in my opinion. Yeah, he's in Nebraska. Matt Rule will throw the kitchen sink. That's what he does. Sometimes it works. Often it doesn't. Terry's not going to play in Lincoln. It's going to be the Pacific Northwest, or about an hour south of home, or north of home rather, is where he's going to be wind up playing. Look, Terry told me, Sark has made him feel like a priority. That's what he told us after the visit on Thursday, that he feels like he knows he's needed and wanted. Texas has done a tremendous job this summer really closing the gap in this recruitment. Didn't have a date, but I think it's going to be late August when Michael Terry does make an announcement. It's going to come down to Oregon and Texas. The Horns have about 3 weeks to sort of close it. Put on the pot of coffee, because I think once he makes a decision, I think it's over. I think he'll shut everything down. But I know Horns fans hearing Oregon's in the mix makes them cringe a little bit. But with this one, I wouldn't be as worried, because I do think Texas does hold that slight edge, especially with proximity.
Coach, as we've talked about a good amount on this show, you want to have all the 5 stars you can. You want to have all the top prospects that you can. But those 5 stars, players like Williams, players like Terry, they're the guys that make that weigh a little bit more in that algorithm towards Texas' pursuit of a top 3, maybe even a number 1 class, most likely a top 5 class. And these guys would go a long way to really bolstering the star power in this class.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, their talent speaks for itself. What they call it, 5+ stars now. But those are those 2 guys, and the fact that they're versatile, can do things on both sides of the ball, man, makes them even more great players to add to the class. What you want, and you can do so much with them. So yeah, I think it'll help boost Texas recruiting class. If both those guys end up joining the class, man, it gets no better than that. Like, that takes me back to the Texas of old, man. Like, just getting it done with the athletes.
Before we keep on going, got to give some love to our sponsor, Laura Baker. Laura Baker is part of the elite Andy Allen team in the Austin area, and she can help you whether you are looking for a house in Austin proper, a suburb, or even a little bit further out. Laura Baker's helped our own Ian Boyd. Let her help you. She's a Longhorn, an Inside Texas subscriber, and a elite realtor, as mentioned. So give her a call, 512-784-0505, UT grad, Longhorn through and through. Her email is laura@andyallenteam.com. And again, 512-784-0505. Guys, let's keep going on. And while some of the 2025s there in Austin were of pretty big importance, the 2026s were basically the stars of the show over the course of this Thursday event. And a couple of new offers went out. One was to Max Wright, not the A&M lineman, but rather a Melissa offensive lineman in the 2026 class. And I think we saw what he measured at. We saw what he looked like, watched his film, and Charlie, we saw another great tackle from Melissa in the Longhorn sights.
Yeah, definitely, man. I know for him, I know he just moved to Melissa from playing on West, but I guarantee you that he knows who Trevor Gooseby is, and he's him doing great things. He was off from Melissa, but so I saw this guy get off the bus Thursday, get in the car. Nobody knew who he was at first. It's like this big human, man. I was like, man, who is this kid? And introduced himself. You should have saw him. He was all full of smiles, man. He was excited. He got the offer from Texas, and give credit to Coach Kyle Flood, man, finding another big guy who can actually move in the trenches on top of that. So, Man, great offer, man. Great kid. I think he's going to soar and continue to be even better than where they got him kind of ranked now and where he's at. I think more people will take notice of who he is. And now, do you got the Texas offer, and you kind of see him kind of blow up the rankings?
His rankings are going to shoot up. His offer list is going to explode. He's got some. You know who I like. You know who I see, Charlie. I see some Josh Cochran when he was at
Okay.
Hallsville. Real
Yeah.
skinny, but had that great moldable frame, good athleticism. Maximum right, Maximus. Hey, this dude, he may not grow a stash like the Katie Taylor kid that went to A&M, but he can do it all else. This is a beautiful prospect.
Yeah, we had some quotes from him over on Inside Texas, basically right as soon as he picked up his offer, and they were glowing. He is a
Yeah,
big fan of the Horns. Had some family, I think, who went to Texas, and
we'll see him again
I think,
soon.
and it was his first big offer as well. So, is a big thing there. Another offer that was sent out was to 2026 Brandon, Mississippi, Hartfield Academy safety Braylon Womack. Justin, you got to catch up with him. He is either the number 1 or number 2 prospect from the state of Mississippi, one of the top safeties in the nation. And he liked what the message that Steve Sarkisian had to offer during his Thursday visit.
He is the quintessential SEC safety. This dude tracks and smacks. Like his tape is so good, it takes about a minute, and you know it's a guaranteed deal. I think On3 has him as the number 2 or number 3 rated safety. However you shake it, he's a future 5-star. He is a dude. Texas has done a great job with these 2026 safeties. Joe and I were talking about before. They put themselves in a real good position. Womack that's a sneaky recruitment. We weren't expecting him on campus, and Texas brings him in and offers him early, and he gets to watch practice. He loved the player workout, as a matter of fact. He loved watching the DBs with Derek Williams and Andrew Makuba and Michael Taft. Like these are guys that he recognized, and he was a really positive kid. I think he's a guy that he's sometimes the higher rated guys get a little jaded. They get a little too big for their britches sometimes. This guy was unbelievably gracious. He was unbelievably appreciative and thankful for Sark and those guys. They left a great big impression on Womack. The key is going to be getting him back this fall, which he told me he will be back for a game this fall. He's not sure which one. But hey, that's how you lay the foundation of an out-of-state elite player. You offer him, you show him everything you need to, show him how he's going to fit in the defensive scheme, let him know how important he is, and then get him back for a game in the fall. Texas did a great job with Womack on Thursday. Like that to me was probably one of the more surprised guys because he was just so excited about being in Austin and getting that Texas offer. We've talked about this a little bit. Maybe the playoff run of 2023 and the big finish and everything may not have the direct effect on the 2025 class, but it will have an effect on 2026. Sometimes that's just how this works. This is an example of it really making an impression on a 2026, and Womack is definitely on the big board now.
Keep on moving. Going to go to one of the Jamarians who is on campus as 2026. Edge Jamarian Carlton goes to Temple High School. And coach, this is the guy we're going to be talking about maybe in that 5-star plus category in a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely, man. Carlton is a superior athlete on the edge, man. Who can get after the quarterback? He can do it all, and he loves the game of football. First of all, I just got to mention he loves the ins and outs of it, watching the film study, really diving in and learning more about how the whole defense operates other than his position. So you're getting a total football player who loves the game, but man, this kid's a freak on the edge, man. At his age, he kind of reminds me of former Longhorn Taquan Graham before he got big, before he came to campus. Right, they were about the same size when they were around the same age, and he actually wears Taquan's number 11. So, a lot of things go in favor of him and at the Texas. A lot of former Longhorn Davion Curtis is on staff there, and it's just he sees Texas as family. But man, that is a great kid. I cannot wait to see him this season just continue to soar.
He'll be a top 50, top 60, probably top 70 national recruit, in my opinion. He's going to have 35 offers by the time it's done.
Seems like we're always talking about some player who wears blue front pants and white back pants. So always good to talk Temple. Last but not least, we had a ton of intel over on Inside Texas about this, but we got to talk about running backs in the 2026 class. Justin Tredarian Ball from Texarkana, Texas High, he committed to Oregon. Surprise, over the course of the weekend. But Texas had a big-time prospect in Forney running back Javian Osborne. We've talked about how stacked the state of Texas is at running back. I think if you look at On3's 2026 rankings, there may be like 7 in the top 100. Tashard Choice is kind of starting clean again with Racine Guillory having decommitted a quality player, but a player who did not stick with his commitment. Now the Longhorns are continue to be after Javian Osborne and gave themselves tried to put the best message they could in front of the talented ball carrier this past weekend.
Yeah, getting Osborne back on campus was imperative. That's number one on your big board. Javian Osborne, I think, has been at the top of the 2026 running back big board for over a year. The sources within the program and Tashard Choice, they think he is the guy. They absolutely love Osborne. Big time tailback out of Forney. So does everybody else. Notre Dame loves him. He was up at Michigan. They love him. LSU, Alabama, Georgia. This guy's going to have his pick of where he goes to play football on Saturdays. And I think Texas is in a prize position there. He's number one on the big board. Number two, creeping up on that big board, was on campus as well, and that's Sandy Creek, Georgia running back Amari Latimer. We caught up with him this weekend as well, and that's a guy, we thought this cycle would be the first one where Choice stays in state, just because, like you said, there are so many guys, even within this region, that are takes at on the Texas level. But man, you can't take the boy out of Georgia. Choice loves going back home to the Peach State, and Amari Latimer, 6 foot, over 200 pounds. And if you need a thunder and lightning, that's what Osborne and a Latimer gives you. I think Texas is in a prime spot for both those guys. I don't see a decision coming anytime soon. I know both are going to be back on campus multiple times this fall. But just understand with Osborne, Texas is setting the pace in that recruitment, and for good reason. That's their top dog. He's been their top dog. You get him and you get Latimer, and Choice is cooking with grease once again in 2026.
We have a ton of coverage of this Thursday barbecue bash. Over on Inside Texas, we had Intel on Thursday. We're cranking out quotes. These two are cranking out quotes on a daily basis. So come and check out what all the Longhorns had to say. Longhorn recruits had to say. Use the promo code IT1. Get yourself 2 months of Inside Texas access for just $1. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. If you're on podcasts, give us a 5-star review. We appreciate you listening, however you're listening. So Justin, Coach, thank y'all so much. Thank you to Laura Baker. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.